Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Nick Month 2. This time it's personal. And we're also back from the vault for one last time because this special came out in 2016 and it is Danger and Thunder. Yes, the crossover everyone been waiting for between Henry Danger and the Thundermans, or Henry Danger and two other Thundermans. That's it. The rest of the cast couldn't be bothered. And I know there's you have to pay certain whoever you have on a special, you have to pay, and that becomes part of the budget. And there's a large part of this that's on a green screen. So yeah, I get that. It's kind of like with the crossovers for the Arrowverse. While some actors showed up on their own show and not on the other crossovers because they were getting paid for their own show and they don't want to pay extra for. So that's there's a whole lot of stuff. So that's so you get two of the characters. Not even Colosso is in this, and I thought he was. Yeah, and for a 5-year-old, my son, when he was 5 years old, this was a big thing because he loved both of these shows. So this was big. Those of you who don't know, Henry Danger is another show created by He Who Shall Not Be Named. But all that controversy started to happen around the 5th season, so he was booted out. And so the 5th season is completely free of him. And I always felt that this was the least. Like, it felt like, I've said this before, Sam and Cat was the height of his misuse. After that, things kind of went down. This and Game Shakers have the least of, I think, isms. Just sort of explain the shows. Henry Danger, like I said, is created by He Who Should Not Be Named, is about a 13-year-old boy who wants to become, who is told he wants to get a job, but he's you're not supposed to get a job till you're 16, but he's 13. And so he goes to this place called Junk and Stuff, where he ends up becoming the sidekick for Captain Man, the local superhero in Swellview. This is the only show to not take place in a regular location. We've had San Diego, Seattle, Hollywood, also Hollywood, Chicago if we count Kenan and Kel. So yeah, and then later I think New York. New York is where Game Shakers is. So this is the first one where and they're all in the same universe. Don't you forget. Kinda, cause like they're all in the same universe, but an episode of Game Shakers, which is connected to Henry Danger, Nathan Kress played himself and not Freddy. But they're canonically connected to the other shows in that because of Goomer, who is the sidekick of Frankini and Henry Danger, the henchman. But he was a character on Sam and Cat. So yeah, that's why the shows are all connected, because Henry Danger crosses over with Game Shakers at one point. Danger Games is what it's called. So yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, and the Thundermans is about a superhero family who are pretending to be normal to live in a normal place, Cityville, Metroburg and Cityville, something like that. I don't know what it's called. It's not Cityville. I don't know, something like that. And there's twins, Max and Phoebe. That's from the Christmas episode. I'm not Phoebe. Max and Phoebe. They're really the focus of the show, whereas Phoebe is ready to become a superhero. Max wants to be a supervillain, and that is sort of his running thing throughout most of the series, including now in this one. So, yeah. So, One thing I want to point out before I get started, this was a weird watch because the version they have on Paramount Plus has a bunch of pop-up things, information. Cast members pop in and say, "Whoa, hey, what? That was cool," or "Oh, hey, I remember this. That's a stunt double. That was made of foam. We threw it at my head." That sort of thing. Yes, it was a James Norman impression. That was made of foam. They threw it at my head. Oh, that's how he talked when he was younger. But like, I was like, "What? Can I turn this off?" No, that is the version that's on Paramount Plus, and I do not know why. And it was very annoying when they were popping in. I was making my lunch when the episode started. When it started, I pushed play and I was making my lunch, and then it was annoying. It's only 44 minutes, but so it gets right to the point. Right. But yeah, so we start with Phoebe at the house, the only appearance of the Thunderman household. She is watching reports of a big crime wave in Swellview, which is where Henry Danger takes place. So she decides she's going to suit up. She is only in training at this point and not a full-fledged superhero. She's not even... At one point, she gets to protect wherever she's from. I don't remember what it's called. But I don't have my other TV up here to look it up. So, here, she's just Phoebe. And so she sneaks off to Swellview, but is found out by Max, her brother, and they use... So they have, the superpowers they have freeze breath, heat breath, telekinesis. I want to say they each get they get another power later, I think. But they don't have... So they lift themselves up, and then they're going to drop each other, and they do, and that was not a very good idea. So, Max is after this device that Helionizer, I think it's called, that can it can turn your air you breathe into helium and then make you talk squeaky, I guess, and make you float up in the air. But he has telekinesis, but he wants it anyway because it's cool. Phoebe, so I don't remember how, but they're able to not tell parents. I don't know. She leaves to go to Swellview, and we get the rest of the special. So, yeah, Captain Man and Kid Danger are very sick of this crime wave going on. A big crime wave. It's exhausting him. Kid Danger is tired. He wants to go to sleep. He's tired. Henry. And they check the they get an alarm from Junk and stuff, and it turns out the three muchachos, characters we've never met before, but are introduced now because they'll be important to the plot, show up to rob Junk and stuff because of the crime wave, I guess. And the three muchachos are a Mexican-Canadian group of three thieves. Yeah, they're muchachos. It's Mexican, but they're Canadian, eh? Yeah. So they use the security measures to take them out, and then Ray and Henry decide they're going to use Captain Man Kid Danger. Decide they're going to use the costumes and bring Charlotte along, who's Henry's friend, to pretend to be the three muchachos and sneak into where the bad guys are. But Phoebe happens upon them. So there's this guy he's cleaning something or something, and he gets scared. I think he's there. He gets scared because he thinks there's the real three muchachos. Phoebe happens to see this and comes in and tries to fight them, and then they have to reveal who they are. And so, like, she wants to go with them, and I like this exchange. It's world building. He's like, wait a minute, ice breath, telekinesis. You're Thunderman's daughter, Freebie. It's Phoebe. Right. He thinks he thinks that Thunderman is dead, but he's not. Oh, sorry, I missed the funeral, but I had a ball game on. He's like, She's like, well, my dad's not dead. Oh, well, when he does die, I hope there's not a ball game on. So, and Kid Danger has a crush on her. But Charlotte's like, here, you go, and I'll stay here. So, hi, I'm Charlotte. Here. So, but she still technically does go later, but I'm just saying. Yeah. The B plot, I'm just going to mention it here. The B plot takes place at Henry's home, and you could have taken this out and made this a half-hour special, because you didn't really need to have this in there. We're at Henry's house with the dad, Jake, and his horrible sister, Piper. She gets better, but at this point, she's horrible. I am not okay! And she keeps looking down at her phone. And then Jasper shows up. I do like this, but he's like, go outside and look at all the beautiful things out. It's very beautiful outside. And he opens the door and it's Jasper. He goes, huh! Henry's not there because Jasper doesn't know Henry's secret yet. So, spoiler alert for those who are trying to watch through this in order. I'm spoiling everything that I can. That is important. I guess I didn't need to say that, but I need to spoil it. But you know. Anyway, so now Piper's head is stuck and she can't move it. They call it tech neck. And so then Jasper I'm just going to go through the whole B plot because you didn't need it. Jasper then starts to text for her, but accidentally texts the wrong Steve. Booger Steve instead of the other Steve. And that causes a big problem, so all the girls have to go there and he has to explain that it's his fault, and then they beat the hell out of him, and then that's it. Yeah. And she's trying to eat spaghetti through the cone on her head because she has tech neck, so yeah, I don't know. It's not really needed. There's not, I guess the conclusion is, but if we don't go back to it, is Jasper can beat up. Stop yawning. Let me drink my Mountain Dew. Diet Dew, actually. Excuse me. Anyway, back to the plot. So they sneak in to the secret meeting of the bad guys. And we find that the bad guys at the meeting are Vandal from the Waldogs, which isn't really your episode. The Time Jerker, who has to do with time. Dr. Minyak and Nurse Cohort. Jeff, the stupid criminal. The thing I noticed is that Schwaz, he's the tech guy. He's Captain Man's tech guy. He's foreign, so he has a weird accent. But he goes, the Time Jerker. And then they're like, and it's Jeff, the stupidest villain in Swellview. Stupid Jeff. So, he could say Jeff, but not Time Yerker? It's not Jeff? And who brought them all together? The Toddler. Yes, the Toddler, the first villain of the entire show, as a matter of fact. And they do go back to that. He actually hasn't been seen since the first episode, because in that first episode, he was thrown down his own bottomless ball pit. Yeah, apparently he was able to crawl his way out into a sandbox. There were children playing and they freaked out. The parents don't pay attention because they're on their phones, because that's how that works. That's very much because the kids nowadays, their parents would have grown up in the cell phone age, so they're like this, which I do, but I do also play with my son, toys and whatnot. So, but I don't, if me and him, we'll watch TV, we'll play with toys, whatever. But he's 14 now. Still can't believe that. So he's not really. He still gets toys, but I don't know. He's got his own phone, and I'm on mine more than he is his, which is weird for me. But I'm not constantly on it. But anyway, I think I'm lesser of the cell phone parents. But Yeah. But wouldn't you know it, the toddler didn't come alone. He has Max coming up because Max wants the Helionator. Or the Helionator, whatever it's called. Helionator. Yeah. Phoebe, of course, freaks out because her brother is there. And Max figures out that Phoebe is one of the muchachos, and he exposes Captain Man and Kid Danger, which causes problems. They try to escape, but Captain Man stays behind and gets captured and put in this giant block where he really has to pee because he keeps saying it. Now they're on a train, which will be also brought up in Having Danger the musical later, but that's the next one I'm talking about because I rearranged the Rufus ones to do them back to back. So yeah, so they're on the train, and when they get on the train, it's just Captain Maniac, Vandal, and the toddler. Where Jeff and I do like that they play it that Jeff is the stupid one because they're like Captain Maniac and Danger are like, okay, get down on the floor, get on your knees, put your hands behind your head, and they're just like not because they're outnumbered, so just like, and then Jeff does it. Jeff, get up, you idiot. Okay. But yeah. So now they're on a train. So Captain Man, Kid Danger, Charlotte, Phoebe, and Schwaz have to find them. We kind of make Kid Danger stupid because he's like, it says that he's going like 60 miles an hour on train tracks, but I don't understand it. He's not in a car. How could he be on the train tracks? And they're like, maybe he's on a train? Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. It's too loud. Hey, maybe he's on a train. He's on a train. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they go down to the train to fight, and, yeah. They pull up. They bring up some more henchmen. Schwaz then gives Charlotte the man grenades and sets it up to. He's like, shoot this at Ray because Ray's invincible. I do like earlier. He's like, I'm invincible. You can't kill me. Like, we know, but you'll be living for eternity on the bottom of the ocean of the lake. Lake Swellview. With fish and fish poop. I do like when I said fish poop, someone popped up, the little bubble, and goes, oh yeah. I'm like, why? I'm like, why? But, so Charlotte shoots it, and it seems to have blown up Captain Man, but they just said they just agreed he was indestructible. It turns out he just flew off the side of the train. He pops back up, and they're like, you're still outnumbered. And then they throw one of the guys overboard. They're still outnumbered. They fight. Max this whole time has been trying to get the Helenizer. He doesn't. But he's like upside down. I'd like when they come back to him and he goes, this is so uncomfortable. He gets up after everyone's defeated. He's like, hey, they threw the toddler off the train. And a couple of the henchmen, like, they're dead. We know the toddler's not dead. We see him later, but, like, I don't know. And then Max like, hey, we did it, yeah. And they're like, oh, we forgive you, Max. Phoebe's like, really? They're like, yeah. Hey, we're going to give Phoebe a ride back on our helicopter. You want to go with? Really? Yeah, okay. And then they have it hanging from the bottom of the helicopter the whole time. And for some reason, they have a bird hit the windshield. I don't understand. I don't get that part, but I don't know. But yeah, it's a fun crossover special. It's not too long. Kind of would have wanted more of the Thundermans in it than just those two, but I always thought that, I don't know why, but I didn't realize it was the toddler. I thought it was the big villain guy from the Thundermans that organized them. I forgot it was the toddler, so. But it's a fun special. So for those kids that like both shows, so. What are your thoughts on Danger and Thunder? In the comments, so much like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.